Hello?
Hi, Shar. That's your
This is
mom.
Charlene.
I'm
Sorry,
trying to
I'm
call,
unavailable
and I
right
can't
now.
get the
Leave your
answer.
name
I've
and
called
message.
Harry.
I'll call
He's
you
not
back.
there. I called Leah. She's not there. Who do I have to call now? I'm mad, very mad, because I can't get a hold of nobody. And you know something? Mel Brooks was right. Life stinks.
Welcome to my world.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charlene Brooks.
Everybody says don't, everybody says don't, everybody says don't, it isn't right, don't, it isn't nice. Everybody says don't, everybody says don't, everybody says don't walk on the grass, don't disturb the peas, don't skate on the ice. Well, I say do. I would like to take you on a journey. I would like to introduce the rest of the people that I grew up with. Let's go back. My people. My people are from Poland. My parents were survivors of the Holocaust, and their families were not. So they created families from all their friends who were also survivors of the Holocaust, also who lost everything. So my brother, I know he's here somewhere, my brother, my sister, and my parents, and all their friends, they came here to this country, as my mother tells me. It was 1949, and we came on the USS Holbrook. It was a destroyer. And you know what? I was sick the whole time. Everybody threw up, but not your father. No, he ate my food, he ate his food, he ate everybody's food. It was like when we went on the cruise to Jamaica. You gotta love these people. I do. They gave me a rich legacy. They came from such sadness, and yet you'll never meet a stronger or livelier group of people. This is my love letter to all of them.
And she would sit and look at the customers as they walked in the door. And as they walked in, she gave them the once-over. Up and down and up and down, up and down until they walked out of the door. And she never had a nice thing to say about anybody.
She was our greeter. But Sam, you promised me both ends would meet. Now, I must confess, my father was a tailor, and his name wasn't Sam, though it was Izzy. Although his real name wasn't Izzy, it was Srul. Srul, say that 10 times. No, I was kidding. Sam was the shoemaker, only that wasn't his real name either. Sam's real name was Shmulach. Now, Anshel, that was he was the barber. But what good are belts? What good suspenders? Then the pants are hanging on our shoes. I feel the winter breeze up and down the knees. The belt is where the time belongs. There's a place for us. Somewhere a place for us. Peace and quiet and open air. Wait for us somewhere. There's a time for us. Someday a time for us. Time together with time to spare. Time to learn. Time to care. Someday, somewhere. I thought all the food that we ate had Yiddish names, like Link. I used to eat Link. It was great in soup, until I found out that it was lung. What we ate, you don't want to know. So you can imagine my surprise when I went into the butcher shop, and on the counter, there was this great big honkin' cow's tongue. And I said to myself, "Oi, tongue is really tongue? You mean we eat lung and tongue?" I was in a kosher deli, it was just the other day, and an old man called the waiter, and I overheard him say, I've been looking at the menu, and there's specials on the wall, and I can't find a thing to eat, 'cause there's no tongue at all. Are you ready? On your mark? Okay. You got turkey and pastrami, you got latkes and salami, you got dicker pebbles, got the jars of prawns. You got communions and knishes and a zillion kind of dishes. I say whitefish, sable, smokeless, carbon locks. You got borscht and eggs and crackers, fresh by all the elder cockers. You got kirski, helsel, fricassee, and log. You got gefilte fish and chrein, and seltzer 2 cents plain. So how come you don't have tongue? By now the other customers had turned their heads our way and listened to our pleas for deli justice and fair play. And all for one and one for all, they rallied to our cause. And so we sang our song again, this song of this love. I just got carried away. As a group, my parents and their friends and all their kids, we did a lot of things together. We went to the beach, we had picnics in the forest preserves, but one of my favorite things was the card parties. Every Saturday night, they'd have tables, card tables set up in the living room. They'd be all over the dining room, they'd be in the kitchen. I'll tell you what they were playing. They were playing kaluki. Now, it's actually like Jewish gin rummy. But instead of 7 cards, there's 15. What? It's not 16. One person has 16. So as a group, these people weren't exactly what I would call tall. It started about 5 foot and went all the way up to maybe 5'5". So when they sat down, their feet didn't exactly always touch the ground. So the feet would be swinging. Now over here was maybe Saul singing his favorite song, and over here was Sarah Spillman singing opera at the top of her lungs, and my father was always whistling. Now mind you, they're all completely different songs. It was like music. And I'll never forget the women. The women would usually sit in the kitchen. Go figure. And they would be, I'll picture this for the rest of my life, they would be scooched up to the table as close as they possibly could. So their short little arms could reach the pushki. Now the pushki is a little bowl where you put the quarters in, because they play for such high stakes. But there was never enough room on the table for the cards, because even though they were short, they all had enormous breasts. And they would use the table to rest them on. So there they were, feet swinging, breasts resting, and kvetching to each other, because you see, half the time they didn't even like each other, but they stuck together. We'll always be somebody's friends, sisters and pals. We'll always be somebody's. If life should reject ya, I'm here to protect ya. If I say that your tongue is vicious, if I say you're uncouth, it's simply that. Who else but a bosom?
incredible child that ever lived. I know. I'm so happy for you. He's so talented. He's so smart. He's so handsome. So sorry to hear about the arrest. So dearest. And the men were crazier than the women. The men loved each other. They were more emotional. And they loved each other, and then they would fight. And then they wouldn't speak to each other for years. And then when they would see each other, it was like nothing ever happened. Most friends fade, or they don't make the grade. New ones are quickly made perfect as long as they're new. But also friends wants to discuss old friends. Have a business schnapps. Here's to us, who's like us, damn few. Now, I don't want to say that she thinks the world revolves around her. And I also want to tell you that she is the funniest woman I have ever known. It is very unfortunate that she has absolutely no sense of humor. Am I lying? I'm not lying. I wouldn't lie. She doesn't exactly think the world revolves around her, but one day after my son Zachary was just born, I'm holding my first baby in my arms, and I give her the video camera. Thank you, Rick. And I say to her, can you take a picture of us? And I'm standing there, and I'm holding him, I'm smiling, I'm looking, I'm smiling, I'm looking, I'm waiting. And she's holding the camera, and she's looking, and she said, are you supposed to be in the little square? Because you're not. Move over. And for those of you who are not Jewish, this means my hand to God. Now, I'm an easygoing person, very calm and very quiet. As I grow wiser and near my personal best, and just a bit older and much better dressed, I look in the mirror and what do I see? My mother. Then she took me to see Zero Mostel in Fiddler on the Roof. I was mesmerized. I thought it was amazing. I mean, it was funny, and it was sad, and the music was great, and the stories were terrific. Stories about people like my parents, who had to leave home and go to a new land. I must go. Who could imagine I'd be wandering so far from the home I love? Yet there with my love After she was babysitting for him, she goes, look what he does. And he goes scampering across the floor, and he rams his head into the closet door, which were mirrored at the time. And I said, oh my God, why would you let him do that? And she goes, he likes it. It is an old Yiddish song that talks about children learning their ABCs with the rabbi. Simple song. And it goes on to say, look to these letters, because just in case, children, you should have to leave your home and go somewhere, like that's never happened before.
In these letters are your heritage. Your tears are in there. Your faith are in these letters. So I learned this song, and I called my mother, who happened to live in Florida at the time, because that's what you do. And I sang it to her over the phone to make sure that I was pronouncing it correctly. And for the first time, there was silence on the other end. I said, "Mom, you okay?" And she told me that her father used to sing this to her. Sometime I'll make for you a nice meal. I'll cook for you.
Sure. Cook. For God's sakes, the woman has Alzheimer's. Cook. Every day the same goddamn thing. Chicken. I love you, whoever you are. Someone who has seen this before. Every day the same goddamn thing. Oh, that's good. Speaking of traditional Jewish foods, there are 3 groups. We have fat, there's starch, and sometimes I laugh about the chicken story. But to tell you the truth, I cried for 2 days after that. I mean, here were these wonderful, vibrant people. I thought that they were invincible. And now they're getting old and sick. And they'd already suffered so much. And how come? Because they were Jewish. And I always ask myself, where does that kind of prejudice come from? You've got to be taught to hate and fear. You've got to be taught year after year. It's got to be drummed in your dear little ear. You've got to be carefully taught. Everybody says don't, everybody says can't, everybody says wait around the miracles. That's the way the world was made. I believe in miracles. Don't be afraid. But I also would like to thank some other people. I would like to thank Meyer and Chaitje and Shmulach and Genya and
Abe and Sal and Rushka and all of them. All of those people who really, really played a big part in my life.